Good morning, everyone. Today we have here Engineer Hamdi. Engineer Hamdi, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Engineer Hamdi Shomal. I am a project manager working at Al Turas Consultant and Engineering in the construction field.
Today we're going to talk about what is the impact of COVID-19 on the recruitment of entry-level engineers, and how do engineering managers cope with the new social distancing measures and be able to plan, organize, lead, and control their teams for the better of their firms. So I have like a few questions for you. I hope that you can answer on them. The first question is that there's many concerns with respect to COVID-19, but what are the top three main concerns?
Now, already COVID-19 is affecting all kinds of fields like economy, construction field, health field, education field, everywhere. Even the construction field also is affected. So the top concerns for COVID-19 are we have closing of factories, reducing of production, even in the construction field, and the people already losing jobs and they're staying at home.
Interesting. So the second question is, how do you operate and bring supplies to the construction site due to the lockdown?
Usually, before we are bringing suppliers, they are coming directly physical to the site. Okay, and they are sitting with us. We are discussing, dealing like this, making contracts, issuing LPOs, issuing orders, purchase orders like this. But now everything we're dealing with the suppliers online. Okay, we are sending to them the request for the material or LPO or purchase order, whatever. Okay, and they're supplying us the material based on the approved sample, what they're sending to us by photo. Sometimes they're sending to us physically to the site to see if it is very important or if we need to show it to the client before proceeding for ordering the material.
So everything basically is online.
Yeah, online it is.
So the third question is like, have you ever worked online from the beginning of the pandemic till this moment, or it was like everything was physically there? You should be physically there.
You see, in the construction field, you cannot work online. It is not an office work. The construction field, you have to be on the site. You have to be physically on the site because the works, which is the people are doing by their hands. You cannot stay at home and follow online or control online or manage online in the construction field. You have to be physical on the site.
So as civil engineer, you must be physically there. You can't work online.
No. You cannot work online. This is not like a sales or it is a schools or colleges or even office work. This is work. This is a construction. This is doing by hand.
So the last question in this interview, what are you expecting from online graduates in engineer?
And online graduates engineer, they are affected definitely by COVID-19. Okay, the thing is the education is becoming more difficult. Okay, and the students, okay, they need to put more effort, okay, due to that, because online, studying online is different than studying physically. Physically, you are doing by hand, writing by hand, even doing the experiments by hand. When you are working by hand, different than when you are working online. So I advise the students who are online to put more efforts, to study more, and to keep their mind open for any experiments or anything physically happened with them.
Thank you so much for interviewing with us, and thank you for giving us your time.
So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Elena. How are you today?
Good morning, Ali. Good. How are you?
I'm fine. So can you please introduce yourself for us?
Yes, Ali. I am Elena Al Safi, and I work in UAE since 2009. I'm an engineer, a mechanical engineer. I work with Mar company, as I have mentioned before.
Okay, great. Wish you all the best. So,
Thank you so
be
much.
talking about the impact of COVID-19 on the recruitment of entry level of engineer. And I'll be asking you several questions. I hope you'll be able to answer me.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay, so starting by, there is many concerns with the respect of COVID-19, but what are the three top main concerns?
Well, the three top main concerns, Ali, since COVID-19 it was as right now in this stage, it's not very new to us. It's a very new virus that each and every industry had to deal with. So, and of course, in the engineering world, we have our own concerns about it, and especially while at work and especially on the site. So, in the engineering, you do not work alone. So there is a lot of human interaction going on. And of course, all the engineers who were coming to work, their top concern was if they would catch the disease or if they would if they would catch this virus somewhere at work and if they would get sick and all. They were worried about how if they would get sick and then while going back to work, like God forbid to spread it among their families. So their top main concern was about getting sick and for their health. That's one of the concerns. Then the second concern was about the company's safety and health measurements. So they were really concerned about how, let's say, in my company, they were concerned about how Amar would deal with their health and safety measures. What are the safety and healthy measures and precautions taken in order to avoid the spread of the COVID-19? So yeah, and then for the third one was the financial and the financial part of COVID because since for a long time we were on lockdown, as you know, and
Yeah.
with that comes a lot of like a lot of financial struggles and a lot of investment struggles as well. So many projects were put on hold because of that, and of course, in the engineering world, as we know, like one day really can cost us a lot of money if we stop working. So a lot of us like were really concerned about like their jobs and if they would be laid off or if they would lose the investments for their future projects and all.
Yeah, okay. So my second question is, how do you operate and bring supplies to the construction site?
You mean during the pandemic, right?
Yeah,
How
in
it
this
was
situation.
complete. Yeah, yeah. It was now there were a lot of measures that were taken in regards to that matter, and especially when it comes to equipment handling, like as I know, let's say on my part, when they were operating the cranes and when they were operating all these cars and whatever was operated in our sites. It was just sanitized prior to usage. And since we were working on double shifts, so all the equipment was pretty much sanitized the day and after use for, let's say, after use it was sanitized. And for the second shift, so they would come and use a clean and proper equipment and all clean and sanitized equipment. So we were using gloves all the time, and the gloves we were changing them. We actually like requested the employees to change their gloves every 3 hours, so that way they would avoid the spread of the COVID, and plus to change the masks, like not to keep all the time the same mask on. So the masks were changed all the time, and whenever like they were handling all these equipments and all, and not to leave anything inside. Like let's say inside the crane or inside the warehouses and all. Plus, when we were having meetings with our suppliers and when we were conducting the meetings, we were conducting them on separate timings, and we would have some time to allow for our team to sanitize after each and every team completes their meeting. So we would sanitize the areas where all the meetings were handled. And yeah, that's all pretty much. And yes, plus if we were sanitizing some of the equipment, like let's say, and some of the supplies, if they are required to be touched directly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, so we would sanitize that prior to usage, before like touching them or before like getting into any physical contact to that with that type of material, especially when it comes to gloves and all.
Yeah, for the
All of
safety of
supplies,
all
yes.
the
For all the PPE, yes, yes, correct. All the PPE equipment, all the safety equipment. And then plus, as you know, there is always in each and every site, not on top of all the safety measurements and health measurements, the health precautions that we were taking, there is a standard operating procedure at every site that should be followed. So we were following that as well. So it was double health and safety precautions literally followed during the pandemic time.
That's great. Okay, after
Yeah.
have you ever worked online from the start of the pandemic or everything was physically?
From the start of the pandemic, not really, since in UAE it was we were just gradually, as in taking like these precautions step by step. So we were following the government safety rules and regulations. So whenever they have told us that we have to, whenever like the pandemic got worse, it was the time when we had to stay at home. So from the start, I was not really working online, but at some point, we all had to stop working because the country was not fully on lockdown, but for some time it was on lockdown that did not allow us to work and operate for 24 hours and for like how we actually know.
Okay. And my
Yeah.
question is, what are you accepting from the graduate in engineer?
So from you guys, let's say the
Yeah,
online
yeah,
engineers,
yeah, from
yes,
online engineers.
from the online guys. So since you guys are studying by yourself, and since you guys are taking these initiatives to study everything and complete everything on your own, and literally like you guys are using a lot of effort, to double effort more than any regular students, to be honest. So what it means that you are self-motivated and bright. So that tells me, and what I expect from you is to be able to deliver your tasks on time, to be able to complete everything that's given to you on time. I believe that that you will be the drive for all the other engineers that will be working with you and sharing with you the same, probably the same seats, how they say it, and. Yeah, since you guys are self-motivated, so I believe that you will be able to motivate others to actually to do their tasks and jobs completely in good like and provide like good results for the future. And you have a good, like you would have, let's say, a great impact on others to complete their tasks well for the future.
Oh, so thank you for everything, Miss Elena.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome,
Really,
Ali.
it was really a nice meeting with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best for, hopefully we will overcome this pandemic. And I know that you guys and all the countries are affected by it. And I'm sure it puts you in a very like difficult situation with your studies as well, because now since it limited your movements and all, and everybody's movement, I
Yeah,
believe. But yeah, but I'm sure you're doing your best, and I wish you really best of the luck.
and I wish you the best in your career and
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Ali.
thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Take care.